Well, let's move on to Ukraine, where two more Russian soldiers have pleaded guilty to violating the rules of war during the country's invasion. They are both charged with shelling civilian areas of the country with Grad missiles and are on trial in a Ukrainian court. Our international affairs editor Dominic Waghorn has the latest from Poltava in eastern Ukraine.
Well, these two Russians were brought into court. They look pretty sorry for themselves. Alexander Ivanov and Alexander Bobikin were captured, and they were members of a couple of Grad rocket units. One was a spotter and one loaded rockets. Grad rockets are those multiple rocket launcher systems that we've seen used in action, firing off a succession of rockets in a quick rapidity, making kind of whooshing noise as they fly through the air. And the Russians use them to bombard residential blocks to the north of Kharkiv and are still firing them as we speak at the moment. This week or so we've been hearing their rockets coming in and the Ukrainians firing back. They both pleaded guilty and said that they had been on what they thought were military exercises with the Belarusian military in Belarus, and then were diverted unexpectedly to northern Ukraine, where they admitted they did use their Grad rockets to attack residential apartments. They looked pretty contrite, and they said they were repentant about what they had done. They are the second and third Russian soldiers to be brought to court to face war crimes. Yesterday, a sergeant, Vadim Shishimarin, was accused of shooting a 62-year-old man in the head in the Sumy region, and he pleaded guilty to that. The Ukrainians say they have, just in this region alone, 60 other Russian soldiers they're going to put on trial. But the question is how long they will be put in jail for, even though they've pleaded guilty. The expectation is that those lower level, the lower rank soldiers will face a bit of time in jail, but then will be exchanged for Ukrainian soldiers that the Russians are holding. What the Ukrainians say, they do have a number of senior officers who are commanders who issued the orders for these war crimes, who could possibly end up in The Hague facing war crimes trials there.
Dominic Waghorn there. Well, in other Ukraine developments this morning, Russia has fired at least two senior commanders for their performance in the war in Ukraine, according to the British Ministry of Defence. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has warned the conflict could soon cause a global food shortage that could last for years unless Russia allows the export of grain from Ukraine to be restored. And Russia's TASS news agency is reporting that more than half of the Ukrainian fighters who are holed up inside Mariupol's Azovstal steelworks have left. Whilst the Russian Ministry of Defence has today released footage of some of the Ukrainian soldiers who've already left the Mariupol plant being treated in a hospital in the captured Ukrainian town of Novoazovsk. We've blurred the faces of the alleged Ukrainian soldiers in line with the Geneva Convention on Prisoners of War.